Alright, fellas, here we are back in Pokemon Masters, and today we're talking about Naomi in Sandslash. Not necessarily in Sandslash, but Naomi, the Sightseer NPC. So, if you don't know who Naomi is, she's a Sightseer NPC. She's a character, just a Sightseer from Alola. That's pretty much it. She's one of the NPC characters, the first ever NPC character, and she's a decent enough ground striker. What's important about Naomi and why we're talking about her today is that back during her release, during the 3rd anniversary of Pokemon Masters, alongside Thunderbolt Red, Ash, and or Cynthia, they released in the middle of the month the Tour Guide Rosa costume event, which obviously featured Rosa as being prominent. She was kind of the mascot of Masters for a little bit. I mean, before Red, Lily, whoever kind of took over that role. And for that event, they ended up doing this little teaser thing. They generally do these things, they don't do them too much, I guess, but this was a little bit special where they made a roleplay account for Naomi. They were like, hey, this is the first post here was on September 8th. It was like, hey, am I on Pasio, whatever. And it was roleplaying a bit until the event actually dropped, which was the 15th of September back in 2022. And they announced, I think, Rosa officially here for probably on the 12th of September. And all that stuff. It had, its trailer, the reveal, all that stuff. It was a nice time for the 3rd anniversary of the game. Whatever. And then I think it ended on October 1st, and then the account went inactive. Naomi still appeared in some events here and there, mostly as a kind of side mention for the most part, but she was around. And they never really did anything with the account. Well, the account posted about 16 hours ago, which is interesting, for sure. It initially says here, first update in a while. Actually, I'm still in Pasio. Pasio is so much fun, I forgot to update. And then, earlier today, about 10 hours ago, she made a post saying, hey, wait a minute, this means I need a photo that isn't a selfie, right? I have to go take a picture, but first I need to sort out my hairstyle and appearance. Will I be able to make it in time for the day? There's too much to do. Which this has a lot of implications. First of all, I want to talk and say that Naomi is an NPC character, which is cool. Good. We're finally getting NPC characters. And what is a little bit odd to me is that this wording makes it seem as if Naomi is going to be getting an alt, whether that be a special costume alt, a Signa suit, or whatever it may be, but she's going to be getting probably some sort of new costume. Is that the most likely thing? I don't know. I've got no clue. But I do think that it is a possibility for sure that this could be happening, that for some reason they're going to be giving an NPC character and all. Keep in mind, Naomi is a completely custom name for the Sightseer, female Sightseer class, because none of them have the name of Naomi. None of them are even close to the name of Naomi. Maybe in Japanese or something it's Naomi and they just didn't translate it or something. I don't know. But I don't know. No members Naomi, right? I mean, Naomi from Masters. She there she is. Her Japanese name right there. Cool. This is interesting that a female Sightseer or a female, or not female, doesn't matter. A NPC trainer is going to be getting an alternative character, right? This could mean, again, a Signa suit or a special costume, and if it weren't for the fact that the Sightseer is only in Alola and it's only an Alola exclusive class, I would say that there could have been a chance that these alternative outfits could be for other variations of that trainer class, right? Like how we have, I don't know if Honeymooners, because it's right here. What the hell? Okay, sure. I guess maybe, right? Two Sightseers of different genders can team up in a double battle as Honeymooners. I mean, that could be interesting. But whatever. Point being is that most trainer classes tend to have been through multiple series of games, like the Hex Maniac or the Youngster trainer class, or whatever it may have been, right? Also, I mean, we have for example, here, the Punk Girl, who was in Gen 6, and it was also in Gen 7, and also has their own variation in Masters, which pretty big glow up, I would say, but whatever. I was thinking that an alt could be, hey, it's an alternative version of the character, right? Like, imagine we got the Punk Girl here as an alt from her Masters iteration, but then they make another iteration of her, and it's her Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon design, or her X and Y design, right? I was thinking maybe they could do that, but the Sightseer does not have an alternative trainer class, aside from sometimes being Honeymooners, right? But those are still the same outfit, right? They're still the same outfit. So no difference there, and no alternative iterations because they are a Sun and Moon exclusive trainer class. So pretty much just leads, Signa Suit, or Special Costume, or some other Masters exclusive alt, which is cool, but a little bit weird because Naomi is an NPC to me. I don't have a problem with Naomi getting an alt, not really at all. I mean, I think she's a fine character. I like the Tour Guide Rosa Special Costume event. It was all cool stuff. But I do think it's a bit weird how she would be getting an alternative sync pair over someone like Sabrina, who has not gotten one in forever and was pretty much the most theorized one for the upcoming villain. I guess it's going to be centered on villains for the part 2 of the whatever the hero event is, right, with Special Costume Celine and Barry. I forget what it's called, but that type of thing. We're going to be getting a part 2 of that, and seemingly Naomi is going to be maybe one of the headlining characters or playing a part in it or something like that. But anyway, I find it weird that Naomi would be getting a sync pair over someone like, again, Sabrina, or maybe even Flannery, Winona. There's another example that I had. These characters have not gotten alts ever, right? They've not even like BP alts. Well, yeah, not even BP alts like Gardenia, Winona, Flannery. These type of characters, nothing for the most part. And I mean, it would make sense for them to get something, right? I mean, I say that they're all about relatively similar in popularity. I mean, I've heard through the grapevine that the Sightseer may be a bit of a popular trainer class, mostly due to the TCG or something, but I mean, I feel like a named character that is more well-known, like the Gen 3 gym leader or a Gen 4 gym leader, or maybe even a battle facility foe, right? I mean, we recently just got Dahlia, but, maybe they could do an alt for Annabelle or something, relatively popular character. Maybe bring back her classic outfit for whatever reason. That type of thing. But for some reason they're maybe potentially choosing Naomi to be a sync pair, which could have some pretty big implications for other NPC characters like Helena, Kaylee, to not using their names, the Hex Maniac, the Furiso Girls, the Poke Kids, right? Getting potential alts in the future. Other than maybe being a actual new Masters exclusive outfit, right? Which is interesting, for sure. So that's the biggest thing here, is that Naomi is back on Twitter, right? Poor Naomi, she should not be here. There's not a place for her. But I mean, she is here, right? She's here on Twitter, reposting again after a year and a half, effectively, of vacancy. Also, saw some people saying that this is just for her rerun. I don't see that being likely, for the simple fact that they didn't announce anything when the event rerun last year, right? Because again, it dropped during the 3rd anniversary. It came back on September 10th for the 4th anniversary, and it was just a generic rerun. Naomi was, again, still an event. Nothing changed about the event. Rose's banner rerun. The event itself came back. Nothing really new. I think the rewards for missions change as they usually do on reruns, but outside of that, nothing really major as a change. But the Naomi account, as shown, did not make a reappearance. She did not say, hey, I'm back on Pasio, blah, 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 whatever the fuck, right? They didn't say anything about that. They just left it as is, but now she's back at this very seemingly random time, telling us that, hey, the data mine, data download, whatever, it's coming, right? It's probably coming pretty soon. It's definitely coming within the next 3 or 4 days, for sure, but never going to be, I'm not going to be saying, I don't know what day specifically. I'm going to bet around the 25th or 26th, but could be earlier. I doubt later, immensely. But anyway, so there it is. Yeah, all right, so something with Naomi. I also wanted to take this time to talk about the other NPC sync pairs and a little issue I have with them, and the fact that half of them are in jeopardy of potentially never rerunning. Okay, granted, all of them could potentially never rerun, but 3 of them have the highest risk, being Helena, Kaylee, and Catherine, right? We do have 6 NPC sync pairs, unless I'm forgetting some. We've got Kaylee, the Fierso Girl, Catherine, another Fierso Girl, Helena, the Hex Maniac, Naomi, the Sightseer, and then both Petey and Eve are Poke Kids, male and female. Right. Naomi is from the Special Costume Rose event, which can rerun effectively anytime, and effectively seems to be pretty much any time. We've got the Eve and PD events, which I think are like some very small, like 1-story stages, kind of like a solo event, but you can team up with a sync pair in it, right? Or Eve is with an EV Day event. I don't remember which of them, right? But PD was pretty separate from anyone like Chase and whatnot. But anyway, right? Those events are pretty much by themselves, standalone. They can rerun pretty much whenever, just to fill out a little gap in content. I'm mostly worried about Helena, Kaylee, and Catherine, if we scroll up far enough, right here, which these characters have a far higher chance of not rerunning. Right now, Kaylee and Helena specifically, are out of the three at the biggest risk, simply because the way that they are obtained is by seasonal events. And if you don't know how seasonal events work, a seasonal event will debut on its original time slot, right? Like, let's say that the New Year's event with Wallace, Claire, and Catherine, that debuted back in January 1st of this year, right? It will then rerun once the following year around that same time frame, about a week or two later, right? So we'll be getting the rerun probably of that event around January 10th, 12th, 14th, some time frame like that. We'll be getting the rerun of that New Year's event in 2025. Catherine will be obtainable. All good. That following year will not rerun that event with New Year's Wallace and Claire. It will instead rerun the event of the new 2025, or the sync pairs that had debuted in 2025 alongside their event, instead of rerunning the one of this year, right? So these seasonal sync pairs get their initial run, they get a rerun a year later, and that's it. They're done. The only way you can experience that story is by summoning for one of those sync pairs, whether it be, let's say in Helena's case, you have to summon for Iris or Alistair, and then you can experience the story. But that story does not enable you to get anything other than the dialogue and story itself. It's like effectively a story chapter. You do not get gems. Well, you get gems for clearing the sync pair story, right? 10 gems. But you do not get gems for clearing battle stages. You do not get to use stamina for tickets or vouchers. You do not get to go through an exchange shop. And most importantly, you do not get to team up with a character like Helena or Kaylee or Catherine. You do not get to do any of that. You just get to experience the 6 or so stages that are pretty much story only, and then you're done. That's effectively your way of experiencing that story without having actually experienced the event that it debuted on, right? Which for Helena and Kaylee is especially bad because their events already rerun and are now gone. Helena debuted in 2022, fall of 2022, back in October of 2022. That's when I started my channel. Well, not started, but consistently uploaded until now. And then Kaylee, obviously, in January of 2023. Those events have rerun. Helena in October 2023, Kaylee in January of 2024. Those events are now gone. They will never rerun again, and unless they change how these characters are going to be obtained, Helena, Kaylee, and Catherine, and other potential future seasonal event locked free-to-play sync pairs, right? Like probably more Furiso girls in the future, because that seems to be a trend now. Those characters will no longer be obtainable. They will be completely locked in a similar vein to Jesse and James, right? Obviously, they have their own separate reasons, those two characters, but in a similar vein, you will not be able to obtain them again. It is not like Bugsy, where they have opted to not rerun the event for years. It is literally a case of, unless they change directly how these characters are obtained and how these events rerun, they will never come back, which is a pretty big problem. And I feel that despite the fact that this Naomi event seems to be mostly related to her maybe getting a new all, or maybe like an EX, which would be awesome, or a great expansion or something like that, I feel that this is something that is worth talking about simply for the fact that these characters need to come back. These characters need to find a way to come back outside of their seasonal events, whether it be, I don't really care. Like, you can make it a team-up event where it's just like, hey, I'm Helena, I am a Hexmaniac, team up, let's go, or whatever, and just make it an event like taming Riley or Classic Giovanni or Petey or Eve, anything like that. Just make it something like that, call it quits. You can rerun that event occasionally, and boom, there's your free sync pair. You can even put these characters in the general pool, right? You can get a general, and just put Helena and Kaylee and potentially Catherine in the future in the 3-star general pool. Be like, hey, here's some free sync pairs that are of relatively decent quality. You can go ahead, pull them for pretty much no effort, right? Not really an issue. But as it stands right now, zero way to obtain these characters. If you have them so far, you have pretty much what is an exclusive sync pair for the most part, I guess. But I really think this is something that I don't think people should stress about yet, because of course it has not happened yet. Obviously, we have not gotten to the next October where Helen has not been available. She was available last October. Theoretically, she's not going to be available this October. But I do think it's something that is at least worth talking about now, maybe. And then once it does happen, once October does come, if Helena's not available, probably send some feedback saying, hey, I want these characters that I missed out on to be available again. Please find a way to do that. Not trying to, get anyone to panic spam DNA's, submission feedback or whatnot. They already get that enough. But I'm saying that it's a topic that is at least worth knowing, and especially if you're someone who does not really grind out events. Of course, in my opinion, you should do that regardless of if there's a character, right? Get the free rewards, candy coins, scout tickets, power-ups, whatever, all of the stuff. Even if you don't do that, at least farm up these sync pairs, because there's a chance that they will not be available again, right? There's always that chance, and you've really got to be careful about that. So yeah, bottom line, the Naomi event, or the Naomi Twitter account has started posting again. Naomi's going to be getting something, whether it be at minimum a rerun, which makes little sense to tweet about, in my opinion, or at maximum a new alt character, right? Anywhere in between that as well. I mean, I would be personally just happy if Naomi rerun with a EX and power boost. That would be awesome, right? But if she gets a special custom alt that is potentially premium or something, I mean, cool. Relatively cool character. I just think it's a little bit weird because I think that they should have probably prioritized some other characters that are actually named, and I'm not going to say relevant, right? But I mean, some word similar in that vein, to where like you have a character that is named, well established in the main line, and then you have an NPC character in the main series who gives like a line or two of dialogue, and then you fight them. And you don't even fight Naomi in this case. Naomi is literally a custom name for an NPC character. Not that you're likely to remember most outside of like Astrid or whatever, but still. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you think about this and how Naomi could be related to some new event, or if she's going to be getting an alt, a rerun, a power boost, or something like that. I'm personally excited. I hope whatever she gets, it is good and worthwhile. And yeah, data mine soon. I'll see you all later. I hope you all enjoyed.